afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You have tuned into the Rebel News live stream on this, a Monday, July 27th, 2026. I'm David Menzies in Toronto at Rebel News headquarters, and way out west, somewhere in northern Alberta, well, she is the she-devil with a sword. She is the Khaleesi of northern Alberta. That would be the sensational Sheila Gunn Reid. How you doing there, Sheila?
David, I'm doing great. I have to wear my glasses today because I have the remnants of a headache, and I'm just so grateful you didn't normally shout as loud in my ear as you normally do.
You know, I almost didn't recognize you with the glasses, Sheila. There's like a Clark Kent Superman vibe going on there. Oh, there she is. Has it ever bothered you, as it has since I was a child old enough to read, that Superman's disguise is a pair of eyeglasses, and nobody looks at this incredibly muscular 6'5" reporter with the Daily Planet and says, I can't put my finger on it, but he looks like somebody really famous, including Lex Luthor, the world's smartest man. I mean, what the hell?
Right. Like, he doesn't even put a wig on, right? Like, he doesn't even, like, put a wig on or muss his hair up. He's literally exactly the same, just wearing a pair of glasses, horn rim glasses. I should tell everybody what we're doing around here because the show is a real packed pierogi of a show. It is. And I dug up that clip that you were talking about, David, while we were waiting to go live from Europe. Anyways, if you're watching us on Rumble, that's an excellent free speech platform. If you want to support the work that we do around here out of the goodness of your heart and not what the government makes you do to the mainstream media by forcibly extracting your cash and then giving it to people you would never willingly subscribe to, you can leave a Rumble rant. That's the paid chat over on Rumble. If it's over the $5 US cutoff, it's obligatory. We're reading on air. If it's under that, we'll do our very best, time permitting. I know David has a little mission to go out on after the show, right? And if you are watching us on YouTube, their paid chat is called a super chat, and the same rules apply. But if you missed the live version of the show and you feel bad about my headache, you can leave a paid comment called a super thanks. And we invite you to do these things because we'll never take a penny from the government to do the work that we do around here, and I believe that it shows in our independence. So that's it. David, get going with the headliners. All
right then. Well, you know what? It's not on the sheet for some reason, but I think we must at least spend about 5 or 6 minutes on it, sure. Sheila. It is the Islamist attack in Berlin, although you'd be hard-pressed to find that out with the mainstream media and their usual useful idiots twisting themselves into pretzels. One of the biggest gay pride parades in Europe is in Berlin, and there was a truck of peace, a Citroen minivan of peace, I should be precise, that plowed into the crowd. One woman is dead. I think we're up to 29 injured. And what I found incredible, Sheila, was the fact that before the gunman, which was thankfully shot dead by police, was identified, the chatter online of people hoping and praying. Yeah, that this would be a white nationalist Christian. Please, please, please. And then when it was found out, Sheila, that that wasn't the case, it was a guy known to police that wanted to join ISIS, and apparently he wasn't ISIS material. I guess he's proven otherwise, given what happened on the weekend. Then the conversation went from who was responsible to, you know, Sheila, we got to look at the societal causes that made this young man do this heinous thing. Can you imagine?
We always hear this sort of stuff when the transes shoot up the schools or kill their parents. There's a real spate of trans children killing their parents these days, if you're like in the true crime space. And it's always the same thing. Well, what did their parents do to deserve it? And I dug up the clip of a lady, obviously an activist, in a vigil at Berlin the day after the Islamist car ramming against the gay pride parade. And she says, I hope that the attacker was not a foreigner, but a white Christian person. They just love to hate you, don't they? Let's watch.
Nachrichten zu bekommen, dass beim CSD ein Auto reingerast ist, ein Mann in einem
That's in
Auto.
German.
Und was auch für mich schockierend war, ist, dass das Erste, was ich gedacht habe, war hoffentlich
I
ist
don't
es kein
speak
Kanake,
German.
hoffentlich ist es eine christliche.
I don't speak German, but anyways, what she says is that she had hoped the attacker was not a foreigner, but someone in an acceptable scapegoating group.
Yes.
Yeah.
An appropriate group. And now that we know the identity, this one of the most shocking stories published in the Toronto Sun, no less, which, veers right of center. I'll read you the headline, Sheila. LGBTQ community fears far-right exploitation in wake of attack. So we know this is a radical Islamist.
Again.
Yes. Guy
Again.
who wanted to join ISIS. And the villain is the far right, Germany's...
For pointing that out.
Yeah.
The ADF, for pointing that out.
And right now the ADF, I believe they're the number one party in Germany, according to the polls.
Wonder why.
Yeah, 30%. But here's the tragedy. Because of the pistachio parliaments you see in Europe, Sheila, you'll see the centrist party always align themselves with the left in Germany because the very mention of the words far right, well, you know what that means in Germany?
Nazis.
That means Hitler. That means the Nazi party. So they will sacrifice their future to those that they are importing who do not share German values, who do not share Western values, and they'll look for a scapegoat,
Right.
the far-right boogeyman that just wants, a return to normalcy in terms of
Right.
immigration. And even when a member of the LGBT community is killed by a jihadi, let's not dwell on radical Islam. Let's dwell on the far right. You know what it reminds me of, Sheila? Was it about 10 years ago in Miami? There was almost 50
The
men.
Pulse nightclub shooting.
Exactly. Yeah. And at the time, the Premier of Ontario, and that turned out to be an Islamist, and at the time, the Premier of Ontario, Kathleen Wynne, who is openly lesbian, she said, let's not embrace Islamophobia to denounce, let's not use Islamophobia to condemn homophobia. And the bodies aren't even cold yet. And she's more concerned about Islamophobia after an Islamist kills all these gay men?
Yeah, let's not talk about the thing that actually did it.
Yes.
Let's make everybody else the bad guy for pointing it out. And you're right about Germany. Every time that somebody even muses about immigration crackdowns or anything, they invoke the far right, and then the rest of the Germans self-flagellate over a history of Nazism.
Correct. And, I was driving in. I'm always listening to talk radio and the news talk radio, Sheila, and I'm listening to coverage of this event, and they don't mention the dead gunman's name. They don't say the I word. It's just a 23-year-old Berlin man. Just a regular guy. Lost his cool that day.
I think we have an Aurora man of the similar vein, up to no good. Maybe we'll touch on that later on in the show.
No, you're absolutely right. And we're only learning about this after it happened several days ago. This Aurora man, folks, that Sheila's alluding to, drove his car through a playground and water park packed with children in Ajax, Ontario. It's an absolute miracle nobody was injured. I mean, this guy is definitely not ISIS material, Sheila. Talk about sitting ducks. And we're only learning about that. Look, it's published today, July 26th, but I think this happened around July 16th. And again, kudos to CP24. They mentioned the guy's name. I'll get to that right now. I don't think I can pronounce it. Ismail Ibrahimzadeh of Aurora. But when you listen to the radio coverage, it's just an Aurora man.
Yeah. It's just like, you see these big organized crime, gang busts, whatever. It's always Brampton men.
Yeah. Brampton man.
Brampton man, Brampton men. Let's get into some of this stuff that we have in the headline here. This from CP24. Sure. This is concerning. Oh, concerning? That's one way of putting it. 2 Jewish-owned bakery locations targeted for suspected hate-motivated attacks. Kiva's Bagel Bar were targeted. 2 locations were targeted in separate incidents Sunday morning, including one where a window was struck by gunfire. Notice how they didn't put shooting in the headline. I feel like that would have been relevant. Jermaine Wilson's editor needs a hand. On multiple posts of social media, police say officers were first called to the Yonge Street and Clare Avenue West area around 8 a.m. after reports that a window at a Jewish-owned bakery had been struck by gunfire. Investigators located evidence of a firearm discharge at the scene. However, no injuries were reported. Then just 20 minutes later, they responded to another location of the same Jewish-owned bakery chain near Bathurst and Steeles after receiving reports of a broken window. There, they found no evidence of gunfire. Just another Jewish-owned business and or school getting shot up in Toronto.
And you know what I find amazing, Sheila, as we covered earlier this month, a Muslim in Bowmanville, he was outed for slaughtering illegally waterfowl to sell. We know that for certain because he incriminated himself. He had Facebook Marketplace ads talking about halal slaughtered animals, again, which he's not allowed to do. What was the outcome? Was it to denounce that? No. Basically, liberals like MP Ryan Turnbull and others who don't even represent the area got together with the local politicians and brought in their useful trained SEALs in the mainstream media to have a stamp out Islamophobia. This is stamp out Islamophobia for a farmer who was breaking the law. Meanwhile, for 3 years almost now, we have had Jewish businesses shot up, vandalized, Jewish schools. We see the Hamas people at the corner of Shepherd and Bathurst every Sunday chanting genocide, displaying swastikas, cosplaying as terrorists. And no big deal here, nothing to see. It is absolutely shocking.
Yeah, and then we've got the mayor of Toronto, Olivia Chow. I'm glad she took time out of her latest dance party. I think that's all she does is just dance in the streets of Toronto. She says the targeted attacks on 2 Jewish-owned Kiva's Bagel Bar locations are vile and unacceptable. I thank the Toronto Police Service for their ongoing investigation and their continued efforts to identify those responsible and bring them to justice. We all have a responsibility to stand against hate. I will always stand with Toronto's Jewish community against anti-Semitism.
Oh, really?
No, you won't. Remember, did she refuse to go to a menorah lighting ceremony because she said it was too political? Or was that the other crazy mayor? Was that Calgary?
You know what? I'm not sure about that one, Sheila. I do know that she skipped out on the first anniversary commemoration of October 7th and lied about the reasons. Oh, I didn't get the invite. There was a bike lane debate at City Hall that went late,
Yeah, right.
and on it went. Well, she didn't go to the second anniversary event either. She does not take part in the Walk with Israel event, which once upon a time, Sheila, it was whoever was who's who in the political zoo. They were in that parade, and now, you know what? It's too political. So yeah, she can say a few words on X, and then, as you said, go back to dancing in the streets. Caravana is coming up this weekend, Sheila. I wonder if she'll be putting on those togs again.
Yeah, you mentioned that she skipped the flag raising day for Israeli independence?
Yep.
Okay, but she allowed the flag raising for the Palestinian flag the first
Correct.
time ever.
Yep.
Where she criticized the conditions in Gaza. Guess who's in charge in Gaza, by the way? And during, I think it was last year's Pride Parade, where she said "Free Palestine."
Right.
So, yeah.
No, it was this year's.
Was it this year's? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I forget because it just is always Pride Parades.
Yeah.
Just, all summer, just Pride Parades. So I lose track. But yeah, so for her to say she stands with the Jewish community, pretty sure she don't.
No, and she will accept mental illness, that being somebody in the Pride Parade that is gay, lesbian, trans, whatever, but demanding, justice for Hamas, Palestine. Meanwhile, not realizing that your position is akin to chickens on the march in support of Colonel Saunders. But yeah, that she'll support. And there she. Actually, I have to admit, that's a pretty conservative ensemble, wouldn't you say, Sheila?
For her on the street,
especially for a Pride Parade.
I can't see her groin, which is good for a public appearance from Toronto's Grammy. Yeah.
Please, I scare easy.
We also, she also posed with the leader of Mississauga-based Palestine House just a couple of days ago. I don't know who rounded that up online. Oh, Israel Now, I think, did. So yeah,
yeah. So we know exactly where her heart is.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Meanwhile, Florida Senator Rick Scott, who is good. I like Rick Scott. He was pointing out the anti-Semitism problem in Canada. So he says, I sincerely hope these perpetrators are brought to justice for these despicable acts. Canada has a serious anti-Semitism problem and the government needs to get serious about it. No, we are. We appointed Omar al-Jabra to some sort of anti-Palestinian or anti-Semitism task force. Rick Scott says everyone needs to wake up. Attacks like these are the canary in the coal mine. The attackers are coming after our Judeo-Christian values and we need to act like it. Yes.
Sheila, I think it's too late. I hear so many in the Jewish community saying, we see the lay of the land and it's time to make our exit strategy. And I am in absolute shock, given, with the exception of 4 years, I have lived all my life in Toronto, and Toronto was this, beacon of peace and civility. And once upon a time, at least decades ago, you had all kinds of elements of the multicultural mosaic getting along. And now every weekend there's calls for genocide for a certain group of people. And the politicians and the police allow it to happen.
They do. They do. And then, you think we were done? 2 bagel shops shot up? Not quite done yet. The U.S. consulate was fired upon. That's a weird way of saying shot. For the second time this year. Mm-hmm. Police are seeking a suspect vehicle. The high-speed chase followed a gunshot at the building that was previously targeted just months ago, March 10th. So that's in downtown Toronto. They're looking for a white sedan. Okay, you guys, make and model, please.
White Accord.
Oh,
Honda
is it white
Accord.
Accord? Okay,
Yeah.
because they don't have that in this.
Well, we don't want to profile
CBC.
certain members of the car community, Sheila.
No license plates. So this is the second time that I would suggest this is a terrorist attack on American soil inside of Canada. I don't think the Americans are going to tolerate this BS for much longer.
Oh, I agree. And again, the fact that it's happening in Toronto is absolutely shocking. This is something that you never saw. But Sheila, I just wonder, what is the objective of these, well, terrorists, let's call them that, because this is obviously a political shooting. Those windows, and they should know this based on the March attack of the U.S. consulate, they're bulletproof. So you're not going to do any harm, so unless you have a bazooka or something. So what's the point?
To be agitative, I believe. And as we know, 3 people were arrested in connection with the last shooting. And the police have said they believe that people are being hired to do this by terrorist groups. Just money changing hands with radicalized liberals, for lack of a better term, who viscerally hate Israel, and they'll take cash to do it.
I wouldn't be surprised, Sheila. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same bozos that show up every Sunday morning at Shepherd and Bathurst.
Yeah, you don't have to pay those guys, though.
Yeah.
They do it for love of the game.
Oh, I don't know. I would love to be able to follow the money there, because they're it almost is like a job. They're there early and they leave late. And I wouldn't be surprised if someone somewhere is paying them by the hour, that this actually transcends visceral hatred to the Jews, and they want a paycheck out of this.
Well, we saw that with the environmentalist movement, right?
Yep.
The CCP protesters who were protesting Meng Wanzhou when she was the Huawei princess, when she was arrested. They had those people standing outside the courthouse holding those pro-CCP signs. And when you went to ask them, they actually didn't even know why they were there or who they were protesting on behalf of. They were being paid. Paid by whom? Well, I think we can all make our conclusions there.
Sheila, a couple of times covering these radical leftist protests, I'll come up to a demonstrator and I'll say, I'll read the sign. I'll say,
what does your sign mean? Yeah.
Yeah. And they go, I don't know. And I go, what do you mean you don't know? And she'll say, oh, somebody just gave me this sign.
Yeah. Yeah. And they just do it. They just do it. That's the part that fascinates me. If somebody said, hold this and stand here, I'd be like, work for you. No. But they just okay, fine.
Yeah.
I will. They don't care. Their ethics are for sale.
Unbelievable.
Do you want to, while we're talking about the CCP, CTV News, Canadian NATO intern arrested on suspicions of espionage in Belgium. So Belgium's Federal Prosecutor's Office said it launched an espionage investigation after NATO's security services tipped off Belgium's military intelligence. Where's the RCMP or CSIS in the mix here? The authorities then detained a Canadian citizen of, guess what, Chinese origin on Friday, a day after raiding the suspect's home and workplace inside NATO's vast command center. Belgium's federal prosecutor said the intern is accused of spying on behalf of a third country and being a member of a criminal organization. Wow.
Sheila, I think NATO has given President Donald Trump yet another reason to leave NATO. America is footing most of the bill. The U.S. could not even get permission to land in NATO countries for their strike on Iran. We know Europe needs the U.S. in NATO more than the U.S. needs Europe. So now you have Chinese spies infiltrating this, why the hell do you want to be a part of this organization anymore? That's what I would say if I was the president.
Yeah. Also, they forgot the fact that for some reason, she's spying on behalf of China in the headline once again. If you read this, you're like, oh, could be from Red Deer. But no, this is a Chinese, sounds like dual citizen because they describe her as Canadian, intern at NATO spying on behalf of China, but that didn't make it into the headline.
Yeah, you're right. There's some selective editing going on by the editors of. In fact, how far down in the story do you have to drill, Sheila, before you get the real nitty gritty?
Couple of paragraphs.
Yeah. I think in our business, that's called burying the lead, folks.
Again, but this sort of psyop is working on Canadians, because we have this article here from, I think it's Global News. More Canadians now trust China under Xi Jinping than Trump.
Astonishing.
It said I'll just give you the numbers. A recent polling by the Pew Research Institute, so they're kind of left-leaning, shows that 2 in 5, or 44% of Canadian respondents, held a favorable view of China. These are Carney voters right here. These are the Carney voters, while just 1 in 3, 33%, said the same thing about the U.S.
Yeah.
Last year, it was a 50-50 split. Sick.
So I think what we're seeing, Sheila, is most of these people, I would guess, I have no way of proving this, they're getting their information directly from the mainstream media, i.e. the CBC. And if you're younger, you are in a university which are now compromised by leftists. I mean, the libertarians, the right of center professors, they, for the most part, they've been drummed out. It's just an echo chamber of Marxism right now on campus. So that might explain that kind of astonishing poll result.
And when I look at this, I would think that at no point in Carney's tenure as prime minister would you see a motion to condemn the treatment of the Uyghurs and Christians under China. You would not see that, even though, like, let's put this into perspective. China has at least 1 million people in concentration camps, religious, ethnic minorities in concentration camps. Now, the liberals are emulating some of the things that they're doing in that China it rewrites the Bible so that there's no God over the state, but the state is over God.
Wow.
But Carney's doing a little bit of that with C9, right? And trying to control what our pastors say from the pulpit peacefully. So, but to think that there are 44% of Canadians who think that a country with 1 million plus people in concentration camps is better than the Americans. The shining city on the hill, the beacon of freedom and liberty in the world, they think China is better. This is why Albertans want to go. We look at that and say, these people are like space aliens to us.
100%. And not just the genocide of the Uyghur people in the concentration camps, but the use of slave labor. And let us not forget, what was that thing that happened 4 or 5 years ago? Oh, yes, COVID-19.
Yeah,
we now know
they did that too.
Yeah, that little blip in the world economy and the number of millions of people that died. So, but China gets a pass? Really?
They kidnapped Canadians. Michael Spavor, Michael Kovrig, they just executed 4 Canadians not all that long ago, and there's one that's been on death row there since 2019.
Yeah.
Under Mark Carney, we would not have gotten the 2 Michaels back at all. We would be like, fine.
Yeah. I think, but that is an astonishing admission of, I guess, brainwashing, Sheila, by academia and the mainstream media. Because how else would you come to that conclusion if you sought out, and by the way, this is not opinion pieces. These are factual news stories, right?
Yeah. But this is pernicious across the left in the North American world. Was it Hassan Piker? Last week, 2 weeks ago, he was wearing like a Mao uniform. Someone should consider that, like a thinking person should consider that the same way if he wore an SS uniform. But he just got away with it. It was just cute, and he got away with it, and he'll be still accepted in Democrat circles as he's just a cute Democrat socialist. Don't worry about them, even though they control New York City.
Yeah.
But that's a uniform of genocide.
Oh, and when you're talking about
Yeah,
how
Mao
many
Zedong
people,
is one of the greatest leaders in this world. The great
unbelievable.
march forward.
And Sheila, when you're talking about communism in nations such as the former Soviet Union, North Korea, Cambodia, China, you're talking more than 100 million people killed by this ideology. I mean, they make Hitler look like an amateur, for goodness sakes.
Right. But it's completely acceptable within the socialist wing of progressive liberalism.
It is indeed.
Kind of charming. Okay, we've got one more thing on this. I am going to disagree with Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful.
Oh.
He says the fear of China's rise will drive North American powers to work together. I don't believe that, actually. I think he is overestimating the sanity of the Canadian government, who are trying to re-engage with China. I don't believe that the Canadian government is scared of China's rise. I think they've hitched their cart to the China wagon, and they think that as China rises, it will take us with them, and that's not what's going to happen.
Well, the Mark Carney Liberals, to your point, Sheila, are enablers. They are allowing, I guess it'll be by the end of the year, the first Chinese EVs will come in. And the reason why we're importing Chinese EVs, according to the Prime Minister, is this is going to bolster the Ontario auto sector. And Sheila Gunn-Reith, there's a steak dinner in it for you if you can explain the logic to that.
Yeah, no, I don't. Hey, our team found a video. Is this in English? Please tell me it is. Of a young person claiming that white men were responsible for that van attack in Berlin. It's the girl with the pink hair.
Oh, no.
Did that description surprise anybody? Should I narrow it down?
And the nose ring?
Yes. Yeah, nose ring. Septum ring. Do you see that? Europa. Yeah, here it is.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Please be in English.
I'm getting really, really sick of this. I'm getting really tired of having to repeat myself over and over again. So today, in Berlin, there was an attack. A van drove through a crowd of people celebrating Berlin Pride Parade that they have every year. It's a huge parade. It's one of the biggest. And they injured, I think, at this time I'm making this video, this is subject to change, 17 people, and one person is dead. Okay, so it's a breaking story. There are going to be things that are going to come out and change throughout the life of the story, average. So the suspect is an Islamic extremist. That's their suspect right now. That's what I read, okay? I'm not going to say anything about the rest of the Muslim population because of actions of this one person. But what I can say is the people who were celebrating about this were all white men, young white men, with crosses in their profiles. Because we've all seen it. We've all seen how you guys react towards gay people and how you wish harm on them constantly. I get a constant hate on my videos, especially about trans people. You're not going to hide behind another scapegoat group and pretend that they're actually the violent ones when it's you. You hold the same exact beliefs that this man who did this attack did.
Except what?
And you're trying to distance yourself from it. And you know why you're trying to do that? It's because you're ashamed. And you should be.
No.
Wow.
Okay, here's the difference between the Christians and the radical Islamists. We didn't run anybody over. The worst thing that we're going to do for you is pray for you and maybe have a bake sale. She can say, oh, you have the same beliefs on transgenderism or whatever. I guess she's technically correct in that we believe it is wrong, but we don't believe it's punishable by death.
Mm-hmm.
We're not hurting you. You claim we're hurting you by not using your pronouns, but we're not actually physically hurting you. Somebody else is doing that. Don't lay that at our feet just because you don't like us. She goes on to say, I'm not going to say anything about the rest of the Muslim population because this one person did it. But then she goes to make these broad sweeping conclusions about Christians who have done nothing to her.
Oh,
they, them, zer.
Sheila, you stole my point. But I will say this, isn't it amazing that this isn't speculation before charges are laid.
After, yeah.
This is when we know it was an Islamist extremist who dreamed of joining ISIS. And I just want to say one other thing. I want to thank this community. I don't know what to call them, but these young women with the dyed pink or blue hair with the nose ring, because if we were in a different reality and I was a young man still dating and I saw a person like that at the bar, oh boy, reverse full engines, Captain.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's kind of like when you see a cuddly creature like a skunk. It looks beautiful and harmless, but you know that white stripe down that black tail means there's an acid, horrific smell coming your way if you get too close. So I want to thank these gals because it allows the normal men and women, I guess, if you're of that persuasion, to avoid at all costs. This is an unhinged person, okay?
That's why Lisa and I call them the poison dart frog people. In the natural world, things that are brightly colored like this and loud are usually poisonous for you, be it flowers, frogs, whatever, snakes, So it's to tell everybody, just steer clear.
Yeah.
And this, nature always wins. And this is just accept your warning, fellas. Go the other way. Find yourself a pretty little brunette. That's what I have to say.
Unbelievable. Sheila, I see we're already past the halfway mark. I think we have to break for some ads, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Okay.
I've got a big announcement. Rebel News Live is back this fall, and we're coming to 3 cities: Calgary, Vancouver, and Toronto. Rebel News Live will be in Calgary on Saturday, October 31st at the Carriage House Hotel and Conference Center. Then we're heading to Vancouver on Saturday, November 14th, and then on to Toronto on Saturday, November 21st at Canada Christian College in Whitby. 3 cities, 3 incredible days, and I want to see you there. Now, if you've never been to one of our live events before, let me tell you what it's like, because I genuinely believe there's nothing else like it in Canada. We've been doing these gatherings for years, and every single time without fail, the thing people tell me afterwards, the thing they remember most isn't any particular speech, as good as the speeches are. It's the feeling in the room. It's walking in and realizing you are surrounded by hundreds of Canadians who think the way you think, who care about the things you care about, who've been watching the same stories you've been watching and asking the same questions you've been asking. People who have felt, frankly, a little bit alone in their communities and who suddenly realize they are not alone at all. That is what Rebel News Live is. It's a convention. It's a family reunion of sorts. It's a day where you get to be yourself completely without apology. And once you've experienced it, you keep coming back. Our attendees know what I mean. We have regulars. Now, who's going to be there this fall? I'll be there. Sheila Gunn-Reid will be there. Tamara Leach will be there. And the Rebel News team will be joining us. Over the coming weeks, we'll be announcing some additional very special guest speakers. And trust me, you're going to want to hear who's coming. Stay tuned. Here's what the day looks like. Doors open at 8 in the morning with a light breakfast. Then a full slate of speeches and panel discussions, the kind of conversations you would never see on the CBC. Catered lunch, more speakers in the afternoon, and for VIP ticket holders, an exclusive dinner with me, Sheila, Tamara, and our guests at the end of the night. And in between all that, we've got a full merchandise store on site, Rebel News toques and hoodies and mugs and books. And yes, I will be there to sign them, and we'll have other sponsors and exhibitor booths from some of the best freedom-oriented businesses and organizations in the country, people you want to know about, causes worth supporting, and groups doing the real work on the issues that matter. It's worth showing up early to spend some time at those booths before the speeches begin. It's the best gathering of freedom-minded Canadians anywhere in the country. I've been saying that for years, and I keep saying it because it keeps being true. Now, I need to be straight with you about one thing. These events sell out every single year without exception. If you wait too long, you will not get in. I've seen it happen. I don't want it to happen to you. So here's what I need you to do right now. Go to rebelnewslive.com and get your tickets at the early bird price, because that price will not be around forever. Calgary on October 31st, Vancouver on November 14th, Toronto on November 21st. Pick your city, pick your date, and get your seats locked in before they're gone. There's nothing quite like spending a full day in a room full of Canadians who actually get it, people who've been watching, who've been following along, who are in this fight with us. I'll see you there. Go to rebelnewslive.com. Get your tickets at the early bird price before they sell out.
For generations, many Canadians have preserved more than just firearms. They've preserved history, tradition, competition, memories. But under Trudeau, and now Carney, heirlooms, estates, collectibles, and competition firearms now have to be surrendered and destroyed. While violent gun criminals get pass after pass, openly ignoring any legislation, lawful gun owners are trapped in an increasingly unfair legal system. But we can help. Canada's National Firearms Association's Save Firearms program offers the legal pathway to preserve what matters, while we work towards a political solution. Don't let yours be next. Save history. Save heritage. Save firearms. Visit nfa.ca today to learn more.
In Canada, firearms owners like me understand the importance of safe, effective self-defense options. That's why we're proud to have Byrna as a sponsor. Byrna's less lethal launchers are designed to help protect you and your family without taking a life. Byrna offers peace of mind, accessibility, and a practical layer of personal security for Canadians who value safety. Learn more at byrna.ca/rebel. That's BYRNA.ca/rebel.
Canada's been told to just quit smoking for decades, same message over and over, and yet millions of Canadians still smoke. So let's ask a follow-up question. For those who don't quit, what about change? In 2026, Canada has options that didn't exist years ago. Smoke-free alternatives for adults who would otherwise continue smoking. That doesn't mean risk-free, it means informed choice. If you don't smoke, don't start. If you smoke, quit. But for those who don't quit, change could still be part of the conversation. That's why Canadians should check out unsmoke.ca, an information resource focused on smoke-free alternatives and honest facts, not judgment. Put the lighter down, Canada. Learn what your options are.
All
Hey.
right, still in Ontario.
By the way, before you get, I promised Lady Menzoid I would ask you. She is doing so much walking. She
Yes.
is burning weight away. You won't believe it.
Yep.
But I'm concerned. She likes to go into remote trails.
Yep.
And I'm not concerned about, coyotes. I'm concerned about, human vermin. So that Byrna that you promote, Sheila, you recommend it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Well.
Yeah. Good for her. When we get off air, I'm going to give you a shoe recommendation for her.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. The problem with walking is that people wear too cushy shoes.
Oh.
And that's not good for you. She'll get shin splints. There's a reason why the barefoot African marathoners are the ones winning races. Anyways, I'll send you a shoe recommendation.
They're running away from lions?
Well, that too. Anyways, I'm an evangelist for a very certain shoe company, but I'm not sponsored, so I'm not going to say it on air.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyways, and I've worn out several pairs of these shoes because I, like her, I'm out on every day, kilometers every day. So, anyways, I will send you a recommendation. Don't let me forget. But still in Ontario, Doug Ford. Still being Doug Ford, not learning the lessons of progressive conservative politicians before him, might I add, from the Alberta experience. He flew short haul across southern Alberta, or southern Ontario, like short trips, easy drives, as bureaucrats were racing to finalize the deal on the jet that once everybody found out about, he had to quickly flip it. Like, he curbed a jet. Which is crazy. Let's scroll down a little bit in this so we can just tell people the distance here. So he flew to in and out of Windsor, Kingston, North Bay, and Ottawa, each in a single day. I'm airsick thinking about that.
And those trips, Sheila, would range from 2.5 to 4.5 hours at most, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a car?
Yes.
How far to Kingston?
Yeah, I would say about 2.5 hours.
Yeah. I don't
Well,
know.
of course, as you full well know, Sheila, it always depends on traffic. I mean, it's not merely a linear distance; it's the traffic X factor. But you're right. Doug Ford's dream of a private plane is dead, but Doug Ford chartering private planes, it's very much alive for trips that. And I should say this: he has a motorcade. Sometimes I've heard the motorcade's even bigger than Carney's motorcade. So
Believe that.
often traffic really isn't a factor. What's wrong with the 401 and Highway 400? It's too much time between cherry cheesecake stops.
It's almost like if the traffic is so terrible that you don't have enough infrastructure, you would think that Doug Ford would do something about the infrastructure. But the infrastructure deficit is for the rest of us, not
but
him.
Sheila, he has, as you might know, several months ago, he announced that he's going to have a consultant's report. So not actually putting shovels in the ground to tunnel under the 401, make a subterranean 401. Personally, I think it's a pipe dream because of all the development around the 401. It's not just that you're tunneling in. Where are going to be the on-ramps and off-ramps? That's, considerable real estate. So you're going to have to demolish businesses and apartment buildings and whatnot. But we still haven't gotten around to studying if we can dig underground. But, that's for the little people. For him, it's flying the friendly skies. And, Sheila, I did a little mini monologue about this last week. Several MPPs in Ford's caucus had their wrists slapped because they were staying at Toronto luxury hotels and they lived a mere commute away. I mean, the worst offender was Stan Cho, who is a handful of subway stops away from Queen's Park. He lives in Willowdale in North Toronto. And he lost his cabinet position, still staying on as an MPP, mind you. But there was a great question asked of Doug Ford because Ford is also making them pay back whatever they spent on those luxury hotels. In Cho's case, it was over $16,000. And the journalist asked, Premier Ford, are you going to pay back the $200,000 the Ontario taxpayer is on the hook for that failed private jet purchase? And Sheila, our viewers can go and look at my video. They'll see Ford in his own words. I swear to God, folks, Ford's answer was, let me tell you something. I was on some recent trips to Utah and North Carolina. You know where I ate? I ate at McDonald's. That's where I ate. What? It's like saying, Premier, what kind of car do you drive? And his answer is, my drapes are green. I mean, can you imagine, Sheila?
Right, and nobody actually. I do believe he eats at McDonald's, but out of choice and not out of frugality. But it's really hard to stomach that, considering how he's just blowing money on chartering planes. And as I said, he's learned nothing from failed progressive conservative governments in other places. This sort of stuff contributed to Alison Redford in Alberta losing the premiership. It was the abuse of a $7 million government fleet of planes to fly all over the province. There are commercial flights in and out of Calgary to Edmonton all the time, Calgary to Fort McMurray, Edmonton to Fort McMurray, Grand Prairie. Like, you can get them, they're there. But there was the fleet of, I think it was Beechcraft, King Airs. And the MLAs were so bad that the premier would fly in one plane to the exact same announcement, and a couple more MLAs would charter a plane at the exact same time to the same announcement. So they were using these things like minivans all over the place. They were faking passengers on the manifests so that it looked like the plane was full, but it wasn't actually full. And so that's why they chartered the second plane. And it caused the provincial government to get rid of these planes. And we seem to be managing just fine without them, by the way. Just a huge error, and just so unaware of what the common person is going through. And that it's so unpalatable to a taxpayer struggling to fill up their gas tank to see this sort of stuff.
Well, Redford was one of the worst ever, for sure.
Oh, Sky Palace.
And what makes this, I think, especially egregious for Doug Ford, Sheila, is this is the guy who presents himself as the common man driving a
people.
common van, right?
Yeah, he's for the people. That was his song.
For the people. And before that, Sheila, one of the best slogans ever coined, albeit by his late great brother Rob Ford, and please, folks, don't confuse the two, respect for taxpayers. Can you imagine? And he does this kind of shenanigans.
Yeah, Doug Ford has done a lot of trading on his brother's goodwill that he had with people. A man with struggles, absolutely. But regardless of his struggles, always remembered who was paying the bills. Always.
Well, you know what, Sheila? I think the people have caught on because after 3 supermajority governments, the current polls show the Liberals in the lead. And it's worse than you think because the Liberals don't have a leader right now. So a headless party is right now trending in the polls ahead of Ontario's chief cherry cheesecake enthusiast. How do you like them apples?
Yep. I'm going to skip the Alberta fact check stuff. We can talk about that tomorrow. I just think that this one thing ties into the thing that the truck issue in Alberta. I put it outside the chat, but still in the channel. This is from CBC. 3 years ago, CBC ran a piece called Recapturing Our Flag. The clip was meant to disparage those who waved it during the convoy as a symbol of freedom and protest. Fast forward to today, and now it's okay to wave the flag by all of them as a symbol of freedom and to protest against the U.S. How is the U.S. or how captured are these individuals? Our very own government locked you down, mandated you inject something under your skin or you'll lose your job and your ability to enter business. They made your children take it. They banned millions from air travel. And instead of standing up for what was right, then as a free citizen, you chose to take the government side. So now watch this and then think about how they're treating the flag these days. They're actually hanging the flag. Where did Olivia Chow put it up? In protest to the tariffs? Anyways, let's just watch this and let's take a walk down memory lane.
From Ottawa to Windsor, Ontario to Coutts, Alberta, the protests that divided Canada in January and February were united by one symbol, the Canadian flag. Even months after those protests ended, some still use it to represent their views.
Our beautiful flag had been hijacked as their symbol of protest, and I thought that's not right.
In the spring, Victor Crapnell decided he wanted to reclaim the flag.
Victor Crapnell?
So the graphic designer created these stickers.
Our flag has always had a reputation around the world of friendliness and tolerance and acceptance.
Those people that they're using it for the wrong way, these are not the majority of our country.
Businessman Mohammed Faki is a proud Lebanese immigrant. He's been actively encouraging all Canadians to fly the flag this weekend, but not in protest.
Mohammed Faki.
We need to send a message that the flag will always remain.
Huge liberal donor, by the way.
Freedom, the symbol of diversity and inclusion, of an open and great country that welcomes people like me.
Protesters say they are celebrating freedom too. They see the flag as a way to criticize the government.
I usually wave at them and they smile and they know why I'm waving, because they also understand that it now represents, our collective rights and freedoms that we're advocating for.
The message the flag sends has always been complicated. For many Indigenous people, it is a painful symbol of colonialism.
The flag cannot be divorced from the colonization, the violence, the genocide that Indigenous peoples have experienced.
That's correct.
This expert says the flag's meaning is always evolving.
It looks very much like American patriotic display or American political discourse legitimized by the flag. And that's a fairly recent development in Canada.
Victor Crapnell says he received backlash to his campaign when it first started, but he hopes more Canadians will feel comfortable flying the flag this weekend.
I'm looking forward to seeing the positive flags outweigh the negative ones.
And he hopes this week seeing the red and white will inspire pride, not debate. Stephen D'Souza, CBC News.
Stephen D'Souza.
Yeah.
Anyways,
You
guest
know,
starring
Sheila-
Mohammed Faqih.
Oh, can you believe that thief has the Order of Canada and Don Cherry does not? But anyway, Sheila, here's the deal. In 2022, the Canadian flag, because of those undesirables displaying
Right.
it, was very much out of fashion. I remember, one of the symbols of the Freedom Convoy would be the guy in the pickup truck with the hockey stick in the bed with a Canadian flag on it. And I remember interviewing one of these fellows at Vaughan Mills in Vaughan, Ontario. And I said, what kind of reception do you get? And he says, not a day goes by where someone doesn't pass him on the highway giving him the middle finger. Imagine that. The Canadian flag, flown by a Canadian in Canada, gets the middle finger. So let's fast forward to 2025. And it's so true, Sheila. Fashion recycles itself because suddenly, under the elbows up mantra, the Canadian flag is back again big time. And I'll tell you, when I had a bad feeling in my tummy that the Liberals were going to win the election, I was coming down to Rebel News. There was some major catastrophe on the Don Valley Parkway, so I had to take a land route that I don't normally take, and it brought me through Leaside, Ontario, a very upscale North Toronto neighborhood. And I'll tell you, Sheila, the number of homes I saw with giant Canadian flags on their properties. I mean, they didn't have flagpoles, but they were pasting them to the walls. But here's the thing. What I noticed about all those flags, they were brand new. You see? Yeah. So they have drunk the Carney Kool-Aid. And of course, that riding did switch from conservative to liberal. And were all in with elbows up. And suddenly the Maple Leaf, for that political agenda, was to be applauded. Unbelievable.
Yeah, the convoy and the convoy adjacent protests were really the last time that I saw the Canadian flag en masse at these conservative-ish protests in Alberta. Since then, they told us, we're not allowed to fly your flag. So we said, fine, we'll fly the Alberta flag. And now guess what? That's the new extremist flag.
Correct.
This flag right here is an extremist flag, according to the lefties. And I'll show you this in action. I saw this yesterday on X, where I spend far too much time. The lefties were complaining that a local Ford dealership, Kosh Ford Lincoln, Efron, show this second image first, where they say they're proud to, or they get a load of the Proud to Honor package on the 2027 Super Duty. It's like a $140,000 pickup. So they ask, should Ford offer an Alberta Proud variant of the decal wrap that they put on? And it said, anyways, they give their address or whatever. Efron, do you want to show that? It's in the Slack channel, but not in the thread.
And this is a dealership in Alberta selling to Albertans, correct?
Right.
Okay.
And by the way, who do you think buys a Super Duty? You think a lefty's out there buying a Super Duty? You think they're buying the F-350 and then wrapping it?
Mm-hmm.
And, did you find it, Efron? I just want to show this truck because it's beautiful. It's a beautiful pickup.
I'm more of a F-150 Raptor R kind of guy.
Okay. I'm going to send you, I think I have the image here. You're a Raptor kind of guy?
Raptor R.
Okay.
Of which I've only seen 2 on the road, but
there you go.
They're probably
Efron, you should have
$140,000
it now.
too. And I should mention, Ram, to its credit, is bringing back the T-Rex. Way to go, Stellantis. Should never have canceled it.
Okay, so here it is. So Kosh Ford Lincoln, they posed this question, like, should we do it? And then they got some pushback from the lefties who drive Chinese spy cars or electric bicycles or Birkenstocks, I guess. So they got pushback. But again, I reiterate, who do you think is going to buy the 2027 F-350? Rig hands, farmers, tradesmen, right? So then they put out a statement. Kosh Ford Lincoln did. Read the Alberta truck. Hello, everyone. As ownership, we want to address this directly from the dealership. The recent post about the Alberta truck was something that should never have happened. In talking with the person responsible, it was something that was done in jest, satire, whatever. That's not. You were like asking a question, and it shouldn't have been offensive to anybody. And truly was a horrible oversight. It's not excusable and was 100% in poor taste.
What?
We are embarrassed and disappointed. We are proud of our Canadian roots and have operated this business in the community for nearly 70 years. Selling vehicles to Albertans. This post does not reflect the views or values of Kosh Ford or its ownership. We sincerely apologize to everyone in the community who is offended or disappointed. Buy a flag. Buy a flag. By the weekend, it's going to be illegal to wear a blue shirt if the lefties have their way. If anyone who would like to speak with us directly is welcome to call the dealership, and we're happy to speak with them directly. You know what? I hope you people take that invite. Their phone number is there. Call them politely and ask them why they think an Alberta flag with no political message is suddenly offensive.
Yeah, you should call them, Sheila, or if you want me to, I'll call them. I don't get it. The explanation makes no sense. How in any way is the display of an Alberta flag on that pickup truck supposed to be a joke or satire? Because I don't get it. Where's the punchline?
They probably could have sold a handful of these things too. Again, who do you think is buying the Super Duty?
Yeah, and who do you think
whiners?
who do you think's complaining? Like you said before, the e-scooter crowd. And you know what? I think this dealership has caused a problem for itself because they don't know who their market is. Right. And they're basically disparaging the people who would be attracted to that marketing message.
And it's a completely apolitical marketing message. There are plenty of people who love Alberta and love Canada. I'm not one of them. But there are plenty of people who who don't see this as incompatible with the elbows up crowd or whatever. Like it's just our flag.
Yep.
Like it's just our flag. And by the way, you people told us we couldn't wave it. You said that flag's not for you, and we said fine. Deal.
So, Sheila, here's my query for you. If this ran, say, 5 or 6 years ago, before Alberta separatism was on the front burner, this is not an issue, I bet, right?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. But this is the same issue that got a rodeo parade canceled because somebody had a not even pro Alberta, just a float laden with Alberta flags at a rural rodeo they've had a parade there since like 1930, and rodeo is our provincial sport. It shouldn't have been offensive. Everybody got wobbly and canceled. This is the same crybaby cowardice mentality. Like, just say, like, look, it's a sticker. Show me on the sticker where your feelings were hurt, you know?
How is that possible in rodeo country that would cause the cancellation of a parade? Again, not knowing your market.
It just takes one.
Is that all who complained? One person?
Yeah. You know what? I think there was an organized complaint coming from outside the area, because I went to that rodeo parade, and even the people on the rodeo parade committee were there watching the replacement parade put on by the Independence folks. So you couldn't have been that scared of them if you were there taking the candy they were throwing at you.
Then why didn't these people have a spine? This is crazy.
This is the problem with corporate culture and politics, right? No spine.
I think you're right. Just such cowardice.
Anyway, there are other Ford dealerships in town, you guys. Go to one that doesn't buckle to the Birkenstock crowd. I'll go through the chats real quick. Christopher Michael 5998, $2. Wow, I can really read these things today. I should always wear my glasses. Good day, love y'all, doing the right thing. Thank you. JP Alberta First gives us $10. Why is it the default of Canadian politicians and left-leaning Canadians to push for, quote, free Palestine, but their stated attitude is to arrest and jail those who believe in free Alberta? Right. Right.
That's a great point.
Yeah. And we want to leave democratically. We don't want to do it by, harming and killing, butchering 1,200 people on the way out the door. We just want to vote.
Right.
And actually, we don't dislike, we don't hate Canada. We wish you didn't hate yourselves as much as it seems that you do.
Good point.
P. Schofield 10 gives us $5. Sheila saying too late for you is absolutely correct. In Western Canada, save for coastal BC, people will not give up without a fight. Yeah, that's true. When you said, I think, what were you talking about, David? Where you were talking about, the anti-Semitism. And you said, it's too late. And I said, for you, we don't have a ton of that. I mean, we'd have some of it here, but not like what we see on the streets of Toronto and Montreal.
Yeah, and Montreal might be the worst, and that's saying a lot because it's not good here.
Yeah, Montreal appears to be possibly the worst.
Yeah.
Rebel Studio reminds us that Burn is only meant for home defense use, and you can't take it outside for hikes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sheila, why didn't you tell me that?
My home is large and full of trails. So if I take it outside, that's my own business.
Well, we don't want to break the law.
No, we don't.
So to use that classic line from Aliens when the Marines are told to holster their welcomes, gee, Sarge, what are we supposed to use? Harsh language?
You know what, though? A loud noise device will work. Like there's those little keychains that if you pull the pin out of it, it makes a blast.
I mean for the two-legged predator, Sheila.
No, I know. Usually they'll run off with noise. I don't want to tell Lady Menzies all my tricks on it. Garen Saskew became a partial premium member. Hey, Garen, welcome. Annalisa, why do you got to do this to Sheila? Annalisa, 64, she's back. $13.99. Yay, my favorite Rebels. I'm finally getting to watch a live show. You're looking so handsome, sweet Menzies.
Oh, believe me, Annalise, I needed that. It's been a rough week, and it's only Monday.
Kind of stuff makes me want to take my glasses off and have my vision go blurry again. And Sheila, gorgeous as always. Well, thank you, Annalisa. You seem like a lovely lady, but there's no accounting for your taste in men, is there?
How dare you?
All right. I think that's it. Did I get all the chats? Oh, you know what? Before we go, you know what? We'll talk about it tomorrow. That's okay. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Okay. I think that's it. David, wrap the show.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. A special thank you for all those who gave those chats. That's how we make our money here. It's not via involuntary direct deposit or direct withdrawal, rather, of your bank accounts like the mainstream media do. And so we do appreciate that. Speaking of tomorrow, well, you have the sensational one teaming up with the lovely Lise Merle. That's always full value. And I believe I'm back on Friday for the Rebel News panel discussion. So please tune in then. In the meantime, as always, stay safe and stay sane.